So hello, my name is Carlo, one of the software developers here in DevTech. In today's session, I'll be discussing some of the core features present in CRM. So the first topic is how to enable two-factor authentication in CRM. Second is how do we configure data sharing rules. Third is how to set up data backup and recovery. Fourth one is how to track field history and audit logs. And lastly, how to configure GDPR compliance settings. So we'll be tackling the first topic, which is how to enable the two-factor authentication in CRM. So it adds a strong second layer of security to user logins. So instead of accessing the CRM with only a password, users must also verify their identity using a second factor, such as a secure code from an authenticator app, SMS, or a dedicated app like Zoho One Oath. So this helps protect sensitive CRM data from unauthorized access. So because Zoho uses a shared Zoho account across all apps, 2FA must be enabled at the Zoho account level to be effective for CRM. So as you can see on my screen, we are currently logged in Zoho accounts. So under multi-factor authentication, we have MFA modes. So we have different types of authentication. First is we have the Zoho One Oath. So this is an application that a user can download from their mobile phone. It is currently available for both Android and iOS. So when you enable this authentication and you have tried to log in to CRM, when you try to log in CRM, the application will notify you that there is a user who is currently trying to log in. So when that happens, the app will notify to access. Then once approved, you are now logged in. So authentication, such as the OTP authenticator, will be sent to your email or SMS. Same goes to the security key that will give you a key for signing in, such as the passkey. Okay. So the second topic will be how to configure the data sharing rules. So data sharing rules allows you to extend record access beyond the organization-wide default. So this ensures the right users can view or edit records based on the requirements without changing ownership. So let me show you how to do that. So click setup. Then under security control, we have roles and sharing. And from there, click data sharing settings, then sharing rules. So currently I have already created one for this session. Let me just click it for you. So let me explain first. So we have created a sharing rule under the leads module. So we have use case whereas the manager wants to have access to the records owned by the CEO. So we have a permission that we can read, write, and delete. Okay. So once it is saved, the user with the manager role will now have access to the CEO. So let me just open a sample user. So currently I am a manager currently logged in. So right now I have access to the records owned by the CEO. But what if I want to change the permission to read only? So once we hit save, we have to wait for a few seconds for the rule to be completed. Once it is now completed, let me just open the other user. Let me just hit refresh. So now we have edited. Now we have changed our data sharing to read only, which means that when the manager opens a record, they can only read based on the permission. So let us try that. So let me just open a lead record and try to delete it. So once if I hit options, the delete option is now disabled. Also for the to edit the fields, as you can see. But let me try to add the read and write. So it will take a while. Once it is successfully completed, let me just hit refresh once again. And let us try to edit a field. So as you can see, we can now edit the fields. Let's say, okay, we can successfully modify the fields. How about delete? No, it's not. So as you can see, once we have modified our permission to read and write, now the edit button is now visible. You can either modify the fields from here or from the edit section. So basically, the data sharing rule is very useful depending on your business requirements. And please take note that this can be um, shared not just for roles but groups and roles and subordinates. Okay. So for the third topic that I'll be discussing is how to set up data backup and recovery. So in CRM, it ensures that your data can be restored in any case of accident deletion, data corruption, or system issues. So Zoho provides both manual exports and scheduled backup options. So for us to do that, just go to your settings here on bottom left. Then you can just type it here, backup, click data backup. Then from there, we have a backup reference. So upon clicking this, you see that you can choose any repeat type, be it twice a month, once in a month, every week, download immediately, depending on your use case or depending your setup. Could be twice a month or every day. So assuming you want to choose Wednesday, click done, and from there you can have from here you can have a backup summary with the selected details such as you already choose the backup repeat type, which is twice a month, the status, which is scheduled, then next backup will be available from the given date. You can also track your logs, and if you wish to stop your backup, you can just simply just click stop backup. So during the configuration of your data backup, on the bottom right, you can have the notification. So your latest data backup is scheduled successfully. So basically, that's how you back up your data in Zoho CRM.
So for the fourth topic that I'll be discussing is how to track field history and audit logs. So in CRM, field history tracking and audit logs helps administrators monitor data changes and user activity. This is useful for compliance, troubleshooting, and accountability. So for in case if an agent or user did some changes and the admin wants to know who made that changes, it is possible here in CRM. So for us to do that, go to setup. Under security control, we have audit log. From here, you can already see changes. Could be from today, or you can also adjust the filter. Could be from all entities. It could be from setup, export, from specific modules. Could be specific users. Depends on what action that you wish to see. You can also filter the date. Could be today, last 7 days, and could be specific dates or data range. So here we have an example that I did. I, as the user Shane, created a custom field in a standard layout on the lead module. Then I also tried to modify the field to the name from decimal field to decimal fields for this leads module. Then next I tried to remove a field from that standard layout, as you can see here. Then I also tried deleting the custom field itself, then it will be automatically be shown here in our audit log trail. Okay.
So for the last topic that we'll be discussing in CRM is how do we configure GDPR compliance. So it helps organizations manage personal data in accordance with data protection regulations. So in CRM, it also provides tools for consent management, data processing, transparency, and data subject rights. So here on my screen, we have a sample record. So in this record, you will see a data privacy section. Currently, I have already enabled that. So if I try to disable this first for checking, if I just refresh this page first, record, I mean, as you can see, it is disabled. So if you enable your GDPR compliance and hit refresh, the data privacy section will now appear. Okay, so going back, once you have enabled your GDPR, if in our overview tab, you'll see we have different types of how to say this, different types of views. Here we have basic information such as data processing basis for not applicable and applicable. And right now have we only enable the GDPR for only leads and contacts, but um, for your reference, we have you may choose different kinds of modules for this. Okay, for this case, we only focus for the leads and contacts. Okay, on the bottom, you'll see a total consent records of two, which is I will also explain it later on. Same goes with the open data subject request. Okay, moving on to the second section for the settings is preferences. Here in our preferences, as mentioned earlier, for now we'll just focus on the leasing contacts, but once you have enabled your compliance, you have to choose the corresponding modules that you wish to have a GDPR compliance. Okay, so on the bottom we have content settings. We can provide how many months or days in terms of the waiting period for your consent settings. Next is we can manage actions in a record when the consent is unavailable. We may choose process data as usual, we stop processing data or restrict certain actions. Next is personal data handling. You may restrict the data stored in personal fields from being accessed outside of CRM. So we have for data handling. Um, for now, for this session, I will um, stay as is or by default for now. Okay. Next tab is the consent form itself. Currently, this is um, the default consent form that Zoho will provide to you. But as you can see here, if I hover it from the consent form, you can enable or modify the content itself. Okay. Same goes on the bottom, the communication preferences, but if you wish to hide it, you may just click this and there you go. If you want to hide certain checkboxes, you may do so. Also on consent statement and etc. Okay. You may also preview it you may preview your consent form once you are satisfied on the design. Just hit save, then you're finished. Now, for us to simulate, I have a sample record here. Record. On the bottom, we have data processing basis. As you can see, it is currently disabled by default. So for us to simulate, let me just click this. You have to choose spaces. Weirdly, we have um, certain values for our basis, which is, as you can see here, for this session, I'll just pick consent. Okay. Now, once we choose our basis, you notice that our status was changed to pending. So our next consent actions would be send consent form or update consent details. So assuming that the client the client communicated with you via call or email, as an agent, you may just choose this update content details. But you may also send the consent form via email, which is I will do right now. Once you are here, you have to go here, navigate here to links, click this arrow, hover, then choose consent form. Now you have to choose a language. So for this case, you'll just use English. Hit save. Provide a subject. Let's just say VR compliance. Then as you can see, the URL link for our consent form is already here. Then just hit send. Now our status is updated to waiting. So let me open the profile. We have now received the email from clicking the send email. As you can see, I have received it. Let me just open this. Okay, from there, let me just click this first, then try to compose, submit. Once it is done, let me go back to our CRM record, hit refresh. You'll notice that our status is now updated to obtained with the following data that we have inputted as the client. But what if I want to update consent as a um, as the user? I can just go back as the customer and click again. And what if I want to change just to email? Hit submit. Go back to our record again. Hit refresh. Now that you'll notice that my content remarks is updated and our communication preferences became email. So if you check your history, you'll notice the changes so far on the content form that the customer did. Okay, so that's it for the GDPR compliance.